Research shows that 88% of employees find that having a good team culture is important to a business's success. Now, in our last video, we reviewed how to create a workplace where people love to work. In this video, we're going to give you 7 tips and tricks to be able to create that amazing team culture.
At the Dental MVP, we use science to teach people skills to you, the dental professionals. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and don't forget to hit the bell so you never miss out. Tip number 1 is have an emphasis on your employees' wellness. We can't have a positive team culture if we don't have healthy employees. And by healthy, I mean physically, emotionally, mentally, they need to be healthy. Now, I know as small business owners, a lot of times when we talk about employees' health, we come up with wellness plans and benefits, and it's really hard to be competitive on that side of things. And that's not necessarily what I mean. You don't have to have the best benefit package that is out there, but you want to be very mindful of your employees and their health and make sure that you know what's going on in their life. We work with a lot of individuals and there's certain things that might be going on in their lives and you want to be mindful of that. Do they need an R&R day? Have you ever just taken a day where you're like, I just need a day, emotional health day. Can I have one of those? How great would it be if your employer just gave that to you? If they noticed that maybe you were just kind of dwindling down and it brings the whole team down and said, why don't you take the day tomorrow? Now, it doesn't always have to be at a loss of production. Sometimes it's even just giving them a couple of minutes or just noticing and being mindful of what they're going through and helping them get through that.
Tip number 2 is to grow off your existing culture that is there. Now, when you're looking at improving team culture, it does not mean that you need to scrap everything that exists. It's not identifying who you think just doesn't fit into it and clearing house and getting rid of people. A lot of times it's just our culture was never clearly defined. So we could do exercises to pause and help to identify what goals and values exist and what it is that we find important. We can also enlist the team in finding out what is working or what's not working for the team culture to seek out and improve that. So we don't want you to think that team culture is something that you have to restart and rebuild. For the most part, we already have some sort of culture that's existing in our practice, and we maybe just haven't defined it yet or haven't spent the time working on it within house.
If you expect your employees to do a complete 180, you're actually going to have the opposite effect. Have you ever had that happen to you before where all of a sudden, starting tomorrow, there's a new policy and procedure, no conversation was ever done with you, and it's just starting tomorrow, this is what we're going to do, and this is what's expected of everyone. When we don't have that conversation and involve the team and build off of our existing policies, our existing culture, that's where you're going to get that pushback from your team members, and you're not going to get that great positive team culture that we're looking for.
Tip number 3 is to provide meaning. We crave to know that we have a purpose and that what we're doing on a daily basis is contributing to something that is so much greater than ourselves. If we don't have meaning in our day-to-day activities, our job satisfaction greatly declines because it doesn't feel like we're working towards anything that is purposeful to us. It's important that we create these and outline them as mission statements, our core values, but even creating it into like a mantra. That's 3 words that we can be able to repeat that conveys it all in everything that we do to ensure that we're all still aligning. It's also important to make sure that we're taking time to ensure that our employees and our team members really understand how it is that they contribute to the team, how it is that they bring value in their role, how they meet these missions that we're seeking out to achieve, and these core values as well.
Tip number 4 is to create goals. Now, what's really important is to create these goals with your team. We have a great video on how to set goals, how to have the outline and make those steps so that you can achieve them. Now, we really want to make sure that your team is completely involved in this. This is where that positive team culture comes from, that we create these goals together and we have these small achievable steps that we can all do together. We talk a lot about the positive feedback loop, where basically every time you achieve something, you go, I did it, woohoo! And you want to do more. Now, the more that you can have that together, the more the team is going to move forward, collaborate more, and achieve those goals. So we want to make sure that we have something to work towards, something bigger than just a paycheck.
Tip number 5, encourage positivity. Now, fostering a positive environment is something that you hear about all the time. Positive thinking, positive this, positive that. But
come on.
It is huge. It's really important to do to make sure that you're expressing gratitude, recognizing the hard work that other people are putting in and your team members are putting in on a day-to-day basis, And then also making sure that in times of stress and frustration, that you are really leading with a sound mind and being optimistic. Those are things that your team members will pick up on, and they won't want to complain to someone who's being very positive and is very solution based. So it really fosters that positive, forward thinking environment, which has a huge impact on the culture as a whole.
Tip number 6 is to foster social connections. I know this is not typical in the dental practice, right? We're usually saying shh when everyone's talking in the hallways or gossiping and gabbing. But what we want to do is we want to make sure that everyone is socializing and connecting with each other. How often do you have someone who's worked at a practice for years and they don't even know the last name of the front desk person or anything personal about them? How can you expect to have that positive team culture if nobody even understands each other and is able to connect? So you want to make sure that you can create those social connections for them, even if that's something that you have to schedule outside of work. We're go, go, go all day long. We don't have time really to socialize. So make sure that you're creating time for your team to get together outside of work or after hours or come in early, whatever it may be, so that they can actually connect with each other and just socialize and not just work.
Being a good listener is one of the easiest ways to build a strong team culture. Companies with strong team cultures, employees identify that 86% of the time, their senior leadership truly listens to them. Being a good listener not only ensures that team members feel heard, they also feel valued as well. Now, when we're listening, we want to make sure that when we're listening, we're not just listening and having a conversation with ourselves, but making sure that we're listening with the intent to understand. Now, that doesn't mean that we have to agree with any conversations or anything like that. It's just making sure that other people are feeling heard and valued and recognized.
Listen, sometimes we just want to complain and we just want somebody to hear us. And that's what listening is all about. So building that strong team culture is just being an ear for them and it being the employer that they can go to and just lend an ear.
Research consistently proves that having a good team culture contributes to business success and happiness of employees. We hope that these 7 tips have helped you to start creating that positive team culture.
Leave a comment below. What are you doing already in your practice that has helped to build that positive team culture? Or if you try these 7 tips, let us know how it's working out for you. Make sure to like this video and never forget to subscribe to our channel, The Dental MVP.